What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Drew Hoover, and today we're going to be talking about the playoffs. We've talked about the AFC. Now it's time to dive into the NFC, starting with the Buccaneers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, it should be a tough game. A lot of people don't think the Eagles have a chance, but let's dive into this anyway. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please click that subscribe button. Also, if you have any graphic design needs, Anthony Garcia is your man. His link is in the description below, www.anthonygarciadesign.com. Now, for those who watched my playoff predictions, in other words, predicting who would get into the playoffs, a lot of people were surprised for me to predict that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to get in. And, you know, offensively, they got Jalen Hurts, man, that dual threat. You know, the guy that they really took a chance on after they parted ways with Carson Wentz. And, you know, they had a rough start to the season, you know. But Jalen Hurts is really showing the leadership on that team. Talk about their ability to establish in the run. Number one rushing offense in the National Football League. Obviously, Jalen Hurts has something to do with it, but you also have guys like Miles Sanders. You got Kenneth Gainwell as well. But, man, really the difference has been is giving him the weapons that he needs, and that starts with Devontae Smith, man. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for Jamar Chase's historic rookie season, he might have been in the conversation, you know. I mean, the way he makes these, you know, acrobatic catches and those sideline catches, it's just incredible, you know. Almost like what we're seeing with Stephon Diggs, I would almost say, you know. He's making those kind of plays. And the only thing about this is that this defense isn't the defense that we know from years ago. And in fact, when it comes to sacking the quarterback, they're the second fewest in the NFL. Only the Atlanta Falcons have more. So when you talk about stopping Tom Brady, when you talk about the teams that have defeated Tom Brady in the past, that have been teams that can get to the quarterback. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles were one of those teams. Remember, all the way back to the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Eagles, that pressure got into Tom Brady's face and then eventually got that strip sack on him by Brandon Graham that ended up clinching the game for them. But, this is not the same Eagles defense. Even though you have guys like Fletcher Cox, Jahan Hargrove, Derek Barnett, you know, the stats say that they're not getting to the quarterback enough, which, you know, with that offensive line that the Buccaneers have, I mean, Tom Brady might have all day to throw, unless they maybe throw some blitz packages at him. But then you're leaving these wide receivers open. Now, I will admit, the Buccaneers offense has dealt with some injuries. You talk about Leonard Fournette on IR, Chris Godwin on IR. You talk about the incident with Antonio Brown. He's been released. So, what I think is interesting is these guys stepping up. I mean, you still have the weapons like Mike Evans and Rob Gronk, but then you got these, you know, no names, making these big plays. And like I said, I think it's just a testament to how good Tom Brady is. You know, if you've watched my Buffalo Bills Patriots, you know, I mentioned how Mac Jones is making everyone look good around him, even he's just a rookie. That's what Tom Brady's been doing since he got in the NFL in 2000. So, but I think from a defensive standpoint for the Buccaneers, you know, they got that, you know, run defense. So that's going to be a huge challenge right here. That run defense versus the run offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I think where their weakness lies from a defense standpoint, and I've been telling everybody since last year when they were on that road to the Super Bowl last year, is that pass defense. And that pass defense has only gotten worse. Like I said, even though you've got the same starters, which again, I question the legitimacy of it, and, you know, they've gotten worse in the passing game with the same starters that were 21st last year. And like I said, they've gotten worse this year. And so, I don't know, maybe Jalen Hurts has to shred the ball like he hasn't had to before. So that means not just Devontae Smith, but guys like Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert really have to step it up if they're really going to tear apart that secondary. And also, I'll refer back to Dak Prescott. If that pressure's getting to you, you got to get the ball out of your hands quickly. I mean, I know Jalen Hurts likes to scramble, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot on that front seven that Bruce Arians and that defense can really throw at him. So he may have nowhere to run. So he may have to be forced to throw within the pocket. So I went a lot of back and forth right there. But who do I believe is going to win? I think we all want to root for the Eagles because, like I said, we love rooting against Tom Brady, But like I said before, you can't have the second fewest sacks and expect to get to Tom Brady. Now, there have been changes, people do make upgrades, when they get into the postseason, I remember the season when the Colts went to the Super Bowl. They had the worst run defense leading up to the playoffs, and all of a sudden that defense stepped up and really stopped the run. So that could be the case here, but I'm not, like I said, I'm more of a realist than an optimist. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers to win. Let's go. I don't want to make this a high-scoring game because, like I said, I acknowledge that Tom Brady's lost quite a bit of weapons, and the Philadelphia Eagles still have those guys in the secondary like Darius Slay. Let's go 34-24, the final score. So, like I said, I'll be rooting for the Eagles, and I think the majority of America will be rooting for Tom Brady to fall in the wild card, which he's only done that once before. Like I said, he did that in his last year in New England. But, man, I think everyone would be excited. Not to mention that last year they also faced another NFC team, the Washington football team, and almost lost. But anyway, I keep rambling on. That has been my prediction for the Buccaneers versus Eagles. And for those who are wondering why this is audio, it's just actually right now I'm driving to the Raiders Bengals game right now. So I've decided to do this audio and, still working the highlights and stuff, but I've put a recording in on my phone, and like I said, just try to, make a collage, to make my video today. So that might be the way for the rest of these NFC videos. I am your host, Drew Hoover, and have a good day, everybody.